Hello,
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing extremely well.
Good. That's great to hear.
Thank you for making the time on Sunday at a slightly different time.
Oh yeah, no worries at all. Yeah, how was your how so you've been checking out the your new hood? Seeing
Yeah, we
right?
went on a fairly long drive just around,
Yeah.
and um, it's the beautiful views. I mean, I didn't quite realize how much like this is there are mountains.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in Hudson Valley, but
Yeah.
so used to being in Long Island or the east end of Long Island is actually
Very flat.
kind of narrow and flat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, yes, there's some pretty places and the sea is nice,
Sure,
but
of
this
course.
much more. I mean, there are beautiful farms and little towns, and yeah,
And
so we had a good time, and it
is
was.
and is there water? Are you I mean, does the Hudson River are you is it Hudson Valley's completely
We
have like a
don't
Hudson?
see the Hudson River.
Yeah.
There is a stream
Hmm.
about 10 feet wide that goes behind. I mean, we
Oh,
see it from the property. I mean,
nice. Oh, nice.
it's between us and the place behind us, which
Huh.
is very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do see the Hudson from some views.
Yeah.
Uh, no, it's really nice.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's funny. It's a bit late in my life for me to learn an appreciation of the 19th century American painters like Thomas Cole,
Uh-huh.
uh, that quite honestly, I hadn't paid much attention
Sure.
to
No,
them.
sure, sure, sure.
And I'm beginning to realize, in fact, Kynaston did an exhibition a long time ago at the Museum of Modern Art. It was not very well received, but he was linking the big landscapes of Frederick Church and Thomas Cole to the big abstract paintings of people
Sh-
like Rothko and Jackson Pollock,
Sure, sure,
as
sure.
a kind of
Yeah.
American idea of
Scale
I
or
don't know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought it was a very good um, take,
Hmm.
but people didn't like people
Well, I mean, you
because
can't.
they like one or the other, or
Right.
there's
No, right, right. No, I get.
there's
Yeah.
a prejudice that American painting didn't become really good until 1945, after the
Yeah.
European artists came here because of the war, and they
Oh.
kind of,
Huh.
yeah,
Huh.
and they did. I mean, there
Yeah.
was
No. Yeah. 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 I did. I know. Yeah. Huh.
kind of anyway. So I was called to jury duty on Monday,
Yes.
and luckily, I would say, I was not. I got to the voir dire. I mean, I spent the day
You
there.
really did, and they didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I'm really happy I did not get on this trial because I mean, they had to explain. They took about 20 of us to choose five. They'd already chosen five, so
Yes.
they took us into the courtroom so the prosecution and the defense could explain what the trial was about, and then ask us some questions to
Yes.
see if we were, I guess, biased or not. But it's really painful because the defendant is sitting there,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, I'll tell you briefly. It sounded very complicated and almost unnecessary. There'd been this guy who was I'd say a 50 to 60-year-old African American man. He was accused of with an accomplice who was not part of the trial.
Mm-hmm.
We were supposed to not think about.
Mm-hmm.
He was accused of mugging a guy on a subway platform at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Mm.
I gather the guy wasn't hurt badly, or
Yeah.
I don't know what was taken,
Right.
but then the prosecution was asking us questions because apparently when the victim went to the police station, they told a different story from the one they later told.
Oh.
So you have a victim who has lied,
Right.
right?
Yes.
and who they said you will be told has a history of heroin addiction and has a rap sheet, even though he's been clean for a year.
Sure.
And his story was that he was going out in the middle of the night to buy Xanax for his girlfriend. So, I mean, the whole thing was, and they read off the list of witnesses, almost all of whom were policemen.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
that I know without knowing it that whatever's going to come out in that trial, there's more to it than
Yeah. Right.
that.
No. Right. 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 Right.
Already, there's more to it
Yeah.
than
Yeah. Yeah.
that. Why is this a trial?
Right.
Because I mean, it's a New York mugging. It's
Right.
serious. The guy was hurt, but isn't that something you plead out? I
Right.
mean, anyway. So I mean, I answered the
Sure.
questions, truthfully, and they only picked 5 people out of 20, and
Yeah.
I wasn't one of them. So that gives me a pass for 4 years.
Okay.
Have you been
I
called?
have not been called in Washington. I have not been called for jury duty. Oh no, wait, I'm lying. I got called in. It's been almost 10 years though. I got called in probably 2017. I went down.
Okay.
I was there all. I think I no, I was there for 2 days. I was there in one big room with like lots of people, just almost all day, and then they just sent me
Yeah.
all home. Then the next day, I actually got into a trial room. They started to tell us what it was about. It was a murder trial, and they were just asking general questions. And they said one of the questions was, "Do how basically how do you feel about big corporations? Do you feel you can be impartial to big corporations?" And I said, "I'm an anti-capitalist. I don't." And they let me go. Which is true.
Yeah.
I mean, and I meant that sincerely. Like, if you're telling me if it's little guy versus big corporation, I don't think I'm impartial. I can admit that. So
But did that obviously counted for you doing jury duty?
it did. Yeah. No, I
In other
haven't.
words, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and then, yeah, I haven't. No, I don't know. I wonder how they do jury duty here in Washington because I haven't been called, and I'm thinking of all the people I supervise. One of the categories when we take different types of PTO, one of them is jury duty, and of all the timesheets I approve, even, and yeah, and in one-on-ones, no one it's weird. We don't get called more often. I mean, it seems like you get called all the time, and I don't know if that's.
I've been called 3 times and I've served twice. I
Mhm.
mean, I've been on
Yep.
on two
I
trials. I mean, also there's there's a lot of conflicting information because at the same time that I got a summons in the mail,
yes,
which I have to
yes,
respond to, I got a kind of a questionnaire by email
right,
using the same ID number, so they knew who I was,
right.
saying, and one of the questions was, since you're over 75, do you wish to be excused from jury duty? And I said,
But that, ne-
yes.
but ne- that never, nothing ever came of that. They didn't acknowledge that when you
Well,
showed
no,
up. They
I mean,
didn't.
if it went into this, it didn't go very far into the system. And when you're greeted, when you're sitting down in the big jury pool,
Mhm.
they tell you, one of the things they tell you is that you have to be a US citizen, you have to be 18. There's no age limit.
Right,
They tell you that there's no upper age limit.
right.
So clearly, well, it's the government. What do you expect? So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
when I lived in Oregon, I got called twice, and I only lived there for about a year and a half. And this is like when I was making minimum wage, and I didn't have any time off, and so it cost me, I mean, it was, and then they send you a check for like $16 or something, but it's not.
It's $40 a day if you can prove that you're not being paid, if
Right. Yeah, you do have to be able to prove that. Yeah, I do remember that.
you're not being paid.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Justin Timberlake very briefly?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I didn't, first of all, I didn't realize he was so unpopular. I don't know a lot about him.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize he was so unpopular. And what I think also what the general public doesn't know, which I find fascinating, is that where he had dinner
Right.
is right next door to the police station.
Oh.
And 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 his lawyer's office
Right.
is across the street.
Yes.
And where he was stopped was no more than 2 blocks away. So it would seem to me that somebody, probably not a guest, but maybe a staffer at the hotel, the American Hotel, his restaurant,
Right.
has a cousin who's in the police station or something,
Right.
and said he's walked out of here and he's drunk or something like that.
What? But okay. What? So
I'm not saying he shouldn't have been stopped, but
no, right, no, right, yeah. No, okay. Okay. So one, one thing that makes me think of is when I lived in Santa Fe, there was basically one nightclub. It was a gay club, but everyone went there on Friday nights because it was the only like dance club. And at 2 in the morning, the cops would just line up like a block away. And then just as cars left the parking lot, just one after another, the cops would just follow them. So, I mean, it may be, because if this was a Friday night it may be if they're at the police station, they're just there and they're just ready.
Well, yeah, but I
You
mean,
think someone say, okay, and then as far as him being unpopular, he's very divisive. He's still very popular. He was very popular in the 90s. He continues to be very popular. He's very divisive. Him versus Janet Jackson was a whole thing, whether with this is the Super Bowl wardrobe.
I remember that, but I didn't realize that she got the short end of it.
No, her career substantive. I mean, she was a top peak performer, performing at the Super Bowl level performer, and she's never had like a number.
I still don't understand that. Was it because I mean he was the one that messed with her costume.
I think it was an accident between both of them. So people blame him. People say
I'm sure
that they did it on purpose. I don't care. I mean, I think what I still don't understand is why that resulted in her career. But that is what happened.
I don't understand that either.
And I don't necessarily blame him for that. People also, what else don't people like him for? I don't know. I like Justin Timberlake. I'm fine with him. So he played to a sold out crowd in Chicago. So, okay, my favorite thing is apparently the cop who arrested him didn't know who he was because the cop said, he said, this is going to ruin the tour. And the cop said, what tour? And he said, the world tour. But like the cop literally didn't know.
No, the cop wouldn't. Yeah. I that.
Yeah.
No, I can easily see that. But the cops there can be, I mean, I don't know. The ones I see traffic cops or who look like they're 14, literally. I mean,
yeah,
they look like high school people and they've been given these uniforms. But no, I just think it all happened like within 100. There was, I mean, he went to where they stopped him was like 3 blocks away. So he must have been really. He could have run a red light, but I don't think there wouldn't have been a lot of traffic.
No, but I mean, I still don't drink and drive, and I'm not going to.
I also say this. Sorry to interrupt. I also say this. They make a lot of money off of traffic. Violations.
Yes,
and they have speed limits posted that change, very frequently, just so that you can get trapped, so that they can get $200 or something. But
where my job moved to, there's a stretch that I have to remember to drive because they purposely, it switches between 25 and 35 and back, and they post themselves like right as it switches to catch you. They also, the other thing, speaking of like cops looking like they're 14, every year when this is around the time of year when the police academy graduates. That's when this is the time. This is like traffic stop time. I'm just speaking for Washington, or for at least King County. This is the traffic time of year because that's all that they're not. they just graduated. They're not qualified to do anything. They're not qualified to investigate things or to all they did. They have them sitting in cars with radar guns, and that's all they And so they're like you're being pulled over by people who are like feel like they're 12 years old. Yeah. No, but I guess the other piece of it is, does he not? I mean, he's on a world tour. He doesn't have drivers. He doesn't have people. He doesn't. And he said it sounds like he could have walked. Also, I mean, just don't drink and drive. I mean, I'm not going to excuse or defend. I mean, don't drink and drive. It's your world tour. You have hundreds of people relying on you for their livelihood.
Wow. They did get Billy Joel coming out of the American Hotel because he's there all the time.
Yeah. And what did he say? What was his response?
Judge not, lest ye be judged.
Okay, well, I mean, and I say, and you know,
and he knows. I mean, he's been busted.
Right.
Out there.
Well, I mean, I'm not. I do drink, but it's never gonna be me. I won't drive. I don't drive if I've had one I will never be the person saying I only had one martini, because if I've had one martini, I'm not getting behind the wheel of a car. So again, I mean, I don't judge other people and their circumstances and all that, but, and I am in favor of people getting help rather than, criminal prosecution, but, yeah.
What else?
Okay, this one goes back to your New York Times, your editorial, and the shady creative. So did you hear about this Biden video where they're calling it cheap fake because it's not? They didn't use AI or digital tools. They just took a video and cropped it so it looks like he's wandering off confused. This was at the G7 summit in Europe.
Oh. But I just read that he was there was a parachutist.
So there was a group of parachuters, and most of the dignitaries were watching them. There was a separate group of parachuters, and there was a rigger who was down, a support person, and he was nodding and acknowledging those people, the support people. And then someone kind of like points him back towards, but they just cropped it so that you can't see the support people, and it just looks like someone's herding him back, and he's just sort of. And this is but many. So what? Here's what Fox News does. They get a clip of it from some random right-wing site. They I'm sure know that it's cropped, but they run it on their social media. Then once it's on their social media, they print an official report about it, and they put that out to the AP or whatever. Now it's news. Then it gets it got reported. People, CNN. It got reported multiple times. And then finally got corrected, but the people who are going to believe it forever are, I don't know.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump says in front of a Christian meeting that there should be a match between there should be a migrant fight league against he's involved in the world wrestling, whatever. And so his idea, and seriously, because the head of the World Wrestling said, yes, he said that to me. I think it's a joke, but he really said it.
What does he want to do? Explain.
He wants migrants who are of course tough and criminal to form a fight league, and the one who wins should then fight, I guess, the All-American, who's the head of the American, who's the toughest American. So I think it would be easier just to have him and Biden have an arm wrestling. Right?
But okay. Well, I just read a thing, and I don't know. It said, recent polling says many Americans want an anti-democratic, strong, tough leader. That's what they think we need right now in our society. That's what people admire. That's what people look up to. And that's, the
Italians got Mussolini. It's
right. Yeah.
They're getting them all around the world.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, yes. And the thing, he's just going to say anything to any audience for the next 6 months. It's kind of wild. He was saying he wants to give every immigrant who graduates from an American college an automatic green card, which his campaign had to
Yes,
immediately walk
yes.
back because that doesn't even make sense. He'll
Yeah,
tell
but
one group that he's in favor of states' rights for abortion. He'll tell another group he's absolutely, I mean, he'll tell whoever is in front of him exactly what they want to hear very, very blatantly in a way, I mean, that.
and the college idea is very good for him because he could resurrect Trump University and he could basically, people would pay him to
It
get a
could be a
2-year
diploma
degree and
mill
a
of,
green
yeah.
card. So, so basically, it's not nothing to do with education. It's a way of selling green cards. Just like you will give actually a green card to any immigrant who invests $500,000
Yes,
in
yes,
the
which is,
event.
yeah, the golden, I mean, yes, no, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're selling it. And he doesn't care how if they're tough criminals or not, right?
No. Well, no, I mean, well, as long as they're not students exercising their free speech because they get deported, you know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, all of that. Okay, Monolith in Las Vegas.
I
Any?
did. I remember seeing something about that a long time ago or
This
last
is
year.
now the fifth or sixth one, but one appeared this week, and it's already been removed. No,
Oh,
no. They're, I mean, they're 6 feet tall. They're mirrored. No one knows where they're coming from, who's producing them. But it's, I mean, it's Utah, Colorado, Nevada. So I mean, it's a regional. It's a phenomenon.
well, it's either or a combination of an artist who's going to reveal themselves once
Right,
they've got enough publicity,
right.
or a stupid wealthy person who thinks they're an artist
Huh.
and can afford to do this,
Yes. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Obviously, it's expensive.
Yes.
Or it's an advertisement for, I don't know, some AI, something or other.
That would be the
And,
most disappointing, but that's, yeah, I agree. That's
you know,
also a possibility.
it's the modern equivalent of the big billboards that used to have when you drove down the highway. I think they were for a shave, Burma
Yes,
shave.
yeah.
They
Where it
had
was
like a
like the teaser.
story. In
Yeah,
other
the
words,
teaser. I remember. Yeah, or I.
so
Yeah.
so this is just a longer timeline, maybe.
Mhm,
I don't know.
mhm.
But as a minimalist sculpture, it's not very original at all.
Right. No. Right. Yeah.
Maybe it's a nod to Stanley Kubrick's 2001. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, people.
Or again, it could be publicity for a movie or a TV
But
series or
it's been
something.
going on I mean, it's been going on several years though. So I mean, if it is a slow burn
Well,
campaign, they really are. There really are. Yeah.
do they get taken away? Do they
They
get
get taken
taken?
away, and then I don't even know. I can't. I've tried to find out what happened to previous ones. Like, what are authorities doing with them? Where are they now? And I can't even find that information. But yeah, I think so. The first one is probably still the most interesting because it was discovered in an area so remote that originally they wouldn't reveal where it was because they didn't want people to go until they could remove it. They didn't want people to go out and because it was like off of it wasn't on a
Yeah.
trail. It was very remote. And then all the way up to like right on the Fremont Street Experience in Las Vegas has been the most sort of urban. I mean,
Right.
that maybe that aspect of it is slightly interesting, but no, I agree. They're not very interesting art. They're without more knowing behind them. There's not. I don't. Yeah, but they keep getting publicity. So I mean, they're good at going viral. And I don't know. That's something.
Somebody may be getting some satisfaction, but it seems like money could be better spent. But incidentally, um I just before I got on this Zoom, I was looking up. I wanted to know how I could watch the debate on my iPad,
Right.
right? So it told me that I could get the CNN app,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a notebook in my phone, a notebook app
Right.
where I make notes of things that I want to do.
Sure.
So I wrote into it CNN app,
Yes.
and it kept coming out CNN AI over and over again.
Huh.
It wouldn't let me spell app. it turned it into AI. I think it's very sinister.
Well, I tend to be more, well, no, I do think that there are very sinister aspects of AI, but to me, that's just more the banal, like AI is we're putting everything in it, we're investing everything like into the way of the future, and it's still so stupid, it can't even let you do basic tasks, like it can't, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not trying to trick you into something, it's just kind of, yeah, I hate autocorrect, and I hate it gets worse. Like the autocorrect of 10 years ago is better now. Though I understand, and again, I don't use Apple products. You can now say the F word, it won't change it to ducking anymore. So I guess that's
Well, I got Victoria sometimes sends messages to me when she's driving,
hmm
and she speaks them, right?
hmm
They come out as text.
hmm Yes.
She said the word nap in context, NAP.
Yes.
I got a text, KNAPPE, capital KNAPPE.
Huh.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's really bizarre. I mean, where
Yeah.
did that come from, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. No, yeah, these tools are useful to a point, but they're still they're ways away from yeah, from where they need to be. Okay, all right. Back to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, do you have the next?
do we really need them to be that intelligent? I don't know.
Well, right. Well, I and
Or
then,
efficient, maybe.
I mean, what does it mean? I'm confused. I mean, I guess here are my things. I mean, no, I'm gonna sound very old and very like stuck in the mud, teachery, like. But no, people are using tools like Grammarly for their essays. What does it mean to grade an essay that was really substantively written half by a robot? Like what? And I, I really am worried that people are like functionally illiterate. That people don't know. I mean, and I'm talking about adults who are in the workforce now, but really don't know how to use capitalization. How to? I mean, they may be able to spell things, or they may have spell checks spell things for them, but I no, yeah, like I said, I am not a grammar. I don't judge how people pronounce things. I don't judge how I don't judge. I think we're all and again, many of the people I work with are English is not their first language. And so I don't judge that any of that at all.
But sometimes those people have better grammar
Well,
because
yes, because they are
they
studied it.
actually learned it,
Yeah, and they
right?
also often know American history because they were required to in places, you know, that yeah, in ways that we aren't.
Well, I went for a walk this morning and passed a lot of the houses on this road.
Yes.
And talking of grammar, one of them, it has a sign outside, the number, and the sign says the Browns with an apostrophe S.
Right.
Well,
Well,
I felt like I didn't, but I thought I should ring the bell and say, no,
I mean,
is the word house implied
right?
here?
No, the
In which
Browns what? No, I know.
basically,
In my head, I really want to say the Browns what?
the
Yeah, no,
Browns house,
yeah,
or
the
are
Browns.
you
The yeah, no, I know. Okay.
and it's a beautiful sign. I mean, it's, money was spent on it. It's not, it's not a kid's lemonade stand.
When I was a toddler teacher, one of my students' parent was a UW linguistics professor. That's what,
Okay.
and so it just responding to like a 2-line email was just fraught with making sure that I got like every parenthesis
Oh
context
boy.
because this is and I don't want them to think that the person who is introducing their child to language doesn't know, so but they were very easygoing. They weren't.
Now, they probably didn't want to be teaching all the time in the sense of if they were looking at every email they
No, they
ever
were
got.
no. I don't think no. There was never any indication they were judging me or at all. Yes, yeah. Have you been following any of that? It is back to journalism again. Have you been following any of the drama at the Washington Post?
Yes. Yeah, I have. And I'm not surprised by it.
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, there were within all of that, there was an amusing anecdote about one time when they hired some really big name older British journalist, who'd gone to Eton. He was not only British, but posh and
Yeah.
rich.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And they hired him to come to New York to do kind of daily journalism. And after 2 weeks, he burst into the newsroom one morning, very, very excited to say that he just discovered something amazing. He said, there's a huge Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center. And they sent him home. I mean, they did at least send him home.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm embarrassed, because one of the things that attracted me from an early age in your grandfather's newspaper, there was a column by Alistair Cooke called
Yes.
This is America.
Yes.
And it came out almost every day. And there'd be things that were amusing and political and, but they didn't paint, they painted, I think, they were accurate, right?
Yes.
They
Yeah.
were of interest.
Yeah.
They weren't sensational.
Yes.
Things you might not know. And he was living in New York,
Yeah.
but these people, they literally parachute in
Right.
and fire people who know what they're doing.
Right.
Get rid of the institutional memory. They get rid of some old fart who doesn't seem to be, pulling their weight.
Right.
And I mean, Murdoch started it
Yes.
because
Yeah.
he's Australian, and there's a lot of, I would say, Brits and Australians. Like
Sure.
the guy who was one of the guys who was really, really next to, well, he was David Pecker's editor.
Right.
He turned around. He actually was a witness in Trump's trial, I think.
Yeah.
There were two Australians. One of them actually won't leave Australia because he doesn't want to be a witness. He doesn't want to be pulled into it.
Yeah.
But they were, and this guy is absolutely catching, whatever it is by story.
Yeah. But no, wait a minute, and that's what these editors are being accused of. These new, that they've planted stories, that they've paid for stories, like all the things that are just against journalistic integrity in America. But they've, things that are actually even illegal in the UK, but that for whatever reason haven't been.
I'm actually rather surprised that in the UK they actually did get caught out for tapping the royals' phones. I mean,
yeah.
They were basically hiring criminals to do that for them.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Or people who could pretend to be other people on the phone, right? Who could.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm an American. Let's put it that way. I'm embarrassed to have a trace of British accent.
No. Well,
There's nothing I can do about it. It's too late.
Well, no, but again, journalism. I mean, for me, what I do on YouTube is a form of, well, it's more editorializing than journalism, but I do report on things. It's in my blood. I do feel that, but I am very glad I didn't pursue it as a career. I'm glad I don't work in a newsroom. They're constantly consolidating. They're constantly, even not just the Washington Post, but yet, this shift to social media and more like click. I think it would be very hard to be a credible like you said, like Alistair Cooke, like tell like real just human stories in today's climate and culture.
Yeah, and almost every journalistic vehicle seems to be allied to one political point of view or another.
And that's yes. It increasingly it's very hard to find any medium that isn't, and I think to me, and then again, this is more like I don't consider myself a journalist, but so that article that you sent me about the Bell Miles Hudson, the Belltown, the
Yeah.
guy who wrote that, Mike Baker, I know him. He covers all the protests here and in Portland, and I know him.
But what was amazing to me was that the New York Times devoted a lot of
That's
space
a guy. No, I know.
like this one guy
And
who's sitting with his mother.
But
I
again,
mean,
this is the New York Times who, and again, the only claim to fame he has is that he has 780,000 Instagram followers and that he annoys people. That's what he does. How is he
but there
getting?
are a lot of people like that, aren't there?
There. First of all, there are because they drive all up and down. It's not just one
Because he
neighborhood.
lucked out because now
And
he's
it's insane.
really famous.
And again, I refuse to say his brand name at all because I refuse to give it publicity. But he gave himself a good name. He gave his car a really ugly paint job, but I'm in awe of his branding skills because he got something right but
Obviously.
no, but again, and I really wonder, like, I feel for his mother, unless of course she's the one who created him. If she's the one who made him like that, then she kind of gets what she deserves. But if she just did her best and he turned out that way, because some people do, then I feel for her.
I mean, the only thing I thought could be of interest to almost every New York Times readers was the anecdote about his mother. I mean, I don't,
Yeah, and that part, no, that was
because it kind of gives him away as being, well, hasn't left home yet, right?
Yeah, and that is, and so well, yes. So credit where credit is due. Again, that is the part of the story that no one else has captured, and so yeah, good on the New York Times to really like show that angle, which again wouldn't have taken much. I mean, you just look. I mean, freedom of information request. He just look at his record, and then that's all they did was a journalist pulled his record and saw, oh wow, he's been arrested twice for abusing his mother. Let's report on that, and that is news. That is news. How is Bad Boys 4?
Very violent and very funny.
Okay.
I mean,
no,
no, they're very good. It's wink, wink.
Yes.
It's, a lot of clever allusions.
Yes.
And the bad guys are really bad, and there are a lot of good special effects. And the banter, the banter is
yes. No.
is,
Yeah.
Guess what? You can go to the bathroom or fall asleep during actually the shoot 'em up scenes.
Yes.
But you're wide awake when they're, arguing or whatever.
I think I was a little bit surprised at that, and I don't even know what's out in the theaters right now because you're not so much or Victoria so much action movie people, and I also am like I will get up and go to the bathroom. Well, like I know this chase scene's gonna last about 5 minutes. I have taught, I can tune out during those moments as well. But no, I've seen the other ones. I have not seen it. I like like you said, the banter, I think is that their dynamic is great. So Will Smith, another one like Justin Timberlake, a little bit divisive. But he proved himself. This is his first big blockbuster since.
Well, but I guess he's himself, but the character, it fits. It fits very well. Yeah. And the other guy whose name I should know.
Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence.
I guess it's a standard two-guy thing, but they are so different in a way that it works even better.
Yeah. Okay, and then how about as this is a franchise that's been around. This is the fourth movie in a franchise. Like, how are they doing as far as it's still action, but most of our action stars right now are in their like 50s, 60s, and 70s, which I think is awesome, actually.
Oh, listen. There was a trailer for a Kevin Costner movie with Kevin Costner, written by Kevin Costner.
That's already flopped. That's already flopped, unfortunately. The Horizon, An American Saga. So, all right. Well, the word there is it flopped, and now he's trying to get back on Yellowstone, which he left really sort of angrily. But this was kind of his attempt to make his own Yellowstone. The main problem with it was the first of 4 movies proposed. He used his own money, but he paced it too slowly. Like, he himself only shows up in the second hour. He's not in it enough. It's all character development and no plot. And people are like, if this is the first in a proposed series, you needed to hook us more. And so
he wanted to be a European movie director or something.
I don't know. Well, he's had his hits and his misses. So again, he's had Waterworld and The Postman, which were kind of big flops, but he's also had Dances with Wolves, which got him, he won Best Writer, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Score. He can be the auteur who does it.
I like Waterworld, I think.
I actually like Waterworld too, actually. But no, okay, older stars. So Eddie Murphy, who's doing, and I know I'll let you go, is doing Beverly Hills Cop 4. Said, he's filming it, and the director says to him, he's running down the stairs, and the director says, "Can you do it with more urgency?" And he says, "No, I'm 63. Like, I get a stunt band. Like, get it? Like, no, I'm not." So
yeah, I think they can. Look, speaking as an older person, I'm they can forget being on the cover of Time magazine. They'll be on the cover of AARP. That's fine. That's more people read it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I actually subscribe to AARP magazine, and Jamie Lee Curtis is often on the cover. I don't know. If she's very proud of her age, and she's happy to talk about it. And I think that's great. Yeah.
Well, Dick Van Dyke and Carol Burnett had a reunion,
Oh, yeah.
Carol Burnett and Dick Van Dyke. He's 98, she's 91.
Yeah.
They can still banter,
Yeah.
They could,
Yeah. Donald Sutherland.
Bad, very sad. I mean,
yeah.
Great actor. I didn't realize he'd never been nominated. I mean,
I missed that too.
He got a special award, like,
right. But no, so many good movies and such a great actor. Yeah, no, yeah. All right. Anything else? Wait. No, I have to end on this. I came in second in the non-binary division of the 5K that I did last year. I'm going to send you the results. I came in 32nd overall in out of 200 people.
Well done.
With no training at all. Yeah, no,
That's fantastic. You should keep it up.
I'm gonna do. Yeah, no, there are runs all the time. I'm gonna keep it up. I'm gonna. Yeah, I think
so you're in the booth. You're getting people to vote next Saturday.
Yes, that's next Saturday. So if you are available Sunday, but if not, that's okay, and we can chat whenever we can chat. But
that's fine.
Okay.
For Sunday.
Okay. All right. Have a great week.
Love you. Bye.